Thank you. We'll get started because we have been running it short because we have three important things we want to talk about. My name is Tricia Valino. I'm Vice Principal at Rahway High School. I'm here with my lovely compatriots over here from the Rahway Arts and Business Partnership. This is Anne-Marie and this is Amy. They wear many hats. They're going to speak in a few minutes. I'm going to start with talking about our enrichment workshops. This was a pilot program that we started this year. And the story begins 5 years ago when Creative New Jersey went to Rahway. We got together and we formed a group starting at that time called Creative Arts and Education. We meet once a month. I put out invitations to people from school administration, the mayor's office, the arts partnership, Chamber of Commerce, teachers, creative people, some parents, PTOs. Our idea is whoever comes, comes. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. Sometimes we have 20 people, sometimes we have 5, but we try to move things forward. One of our first ideas is that we had to get more arts into the hands of elementary students. This hit a couple bumps in the early years. About 2 years ago, our superintendent asked the school administration to read a book called Excellence Through Equity. And this book gave me the language to kind of promote this enrichment program. In this book, it says that it is the obligation and moral responsibility of schools to put enrichment activities into the hands of students in order to truly have equitable education. This means when our more affluent neighbors have the opportunity to drive their kids to piano and ballet and theater and boxing and yoga and all these things, that districts like mine with a lot of working parents and lower socioeconomic status could look to the schools to fill in enrichment in those hours from 3 to 6. That means we're not remediating reading, we're not remediating math, we're doing enrichment. So some of you have these. I have some examples of what we offered this year. It is a pilot program. When I mean pilot, it means it was volunteer. And I asked my high school teachers when they came to me to get permission to sell cupcakes or snacks after school. I said, don't sell cupcakes, give a workshop. And it's worked. I saw my high school club advisors raise money for things. We provided childcare for parents in Rahway in a cost-effective way, and we provided enrichment. We picked the price point. We picked the price point of $40 per session. 5 weeks for $40. We felt that was the right price point. I'm sorry. I feel like we should go over there. No. Babysitting in our area is about $10. I would pay a high school child about $10 per hour after school to watch my children. If I can give an enrichment workshop for less than that price point, I know it's cost effective for the parents and my kids are getting enrichment. So I knew it had to be about $40. Now, when you sell a cupcake, you make $1. So if I can get $40 from one child to go to a speed and conditioning camp, my track coaches are happy. And that's what happened. Our track team raised about, I think it was about $700. They used that money to go to Penn Relays. Our arts department, our theater arts department, raised about $700. They're using that money to pay for all the lunches when they go to Disney next week to perform. Our French teacher was smart. He teamed up with other teachers in my building, coding teacher, a soccer coach, the arts teacher. He offered French, Spanish, art, soccer. Those teachers put all their money together. It was donated to the French club, and it offset the cost to send our students to Paris this spring break. So this truly was a win-win. We serviced 189 students participated in the program. We worked with the Y. They helped us with that piece of the puzzle that the enrichment program had to be continuous care. That from the time that the elementary school got out until when the parent picked them up at either 4:10 or 5:10, they had to be taken care of. And that's where the YMCA came in. It had some glitches. It was very stressful. What we did see is that 75% of our participants came from the elementary school that was close in geographic proximity to the high school, where the elementary school that was far away did not have as much participation. So we'll be working with the YMCA to see if their grant monies could help with the transportation piece to get the students to Rahway High School. The last idea that I wanted to mention, it came up last time, was Rahway is a school district that needs to recruit. Our junior class is 225 students, where our 8th grade class is about 350. So that's 125 student drop-off that goes to Catholic schools, magnet schools, charter schools, etc. Our idea is if students start coming into Rahway High School for coding and cheerleading and track from 5 years old on, they will have in their heads their whole time, I want to go to Rahway High School. I can't wait to be in 9th grade so I can be a part of it. Lastly, these programs were student-led. They did, the club advisors oversaw it. Legally, you have to have a teacher in the room with students at all time, but the teachers pushed that the high school students were the educators. It was the high school students that were doing the coding. It was the high school students that were leading theater, etc. Okay, thank you. We're going to speak now about our other program, and then we'll have some time for questions.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So when we had our first convening, one of the other ideas that came out of it was the perception of Rahway is not the reality. They're not in alignment. And how can we change people's perception of Rahway? I mean, your perception has changed, but so one of the things we talked about was what are our strengths, and two of the strengths of the Rahway community is our arts and our athletics. And so we originally looked for people who embodied both those attributes. And as we looked around our community, we realized there are so many more people who in so many different categories that need to be recognized that we expanded the reach, and we developed the Rahway Zone campaign. So these are just a handful of the posters that we have, the people who are selected. And every year we take nominations from the community, and we have a committee that narrows it down to just 4. We try to keep it to just 4, and then those people are highlighted. So the criteria are people who have been impacted by Rahway or have impacted Rahway. So for example, we have Nikola Tesla, who was not born in Rahway, but set up the first alternating current lamps at the Rahway train station plaza. And that put Rahway on the map. We have Shanice Williams, who graduated from Rahway High School and then was cast as Dorothy in NBC's The Wiz Live. And as we looked around our community, we realized that not only do we have amazing adults, but we have amazing youth as well. So for example, we have Jordan Williams, who spent his 7th grade year touring as Simba in Disney's national tour of The Lion King. And we have Jordan West, the other one, who is a state champion in track and field, also broke all sorts of Rahway records. We have exceptional students at the elementary school levels, the middle school, high school, and we realize that we have to recognize them as well. They clamored to be recognized, and some of them have done great things outside of school. Some of them have done great things inside the walls of their community. These students are all nominated by their schools, and then they are deemed Rahway Zone Rising Stars. Anne-Marie, would you like to speak about where the posters are?
This is a traveling exhibit, so the posters, you can see them pretty much anywhere. Where they stay still is at the City Hall Plaza. We have them in City Hall. We have them at the high school, which is pretty awesome. So when children are coming in and adults are coming into the high school, you walk down a corridor of all this amazingness, and we really appreciate that. These posters travel for all of the concerts in the elementary school, in the middle school, in the high school. They also have a place in the window of one of our properties where we were able to take advantage of a property that would have normally been vacant and take up the entire window with our mobile exhibit. So there's an opportunity to see them all over the place, including our train station plaza.
And Menlo Park Mall.
And Menlo Park Mall, which we get really excited about, because it's always cool when the kids go and it's like, I saw my teacher and he was on the, and they get really excited about that. I think that's it, right? Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions with either program?
How long did it take you to develop this and put it out there like right now?
It morphed over the 4.
Do you want to speak?
Yeah, I'll
You got the mic.
It morphed over the 4 or 5 years. The first year, honestly, we invited 12 people, and the 4 people that were available for their pictures, they made it. It then morphed into a criteria. Now it's a full year of things that are going on around it, where people are nominating. In October, our homecoming king and queen write essays. When you are Rahway's own, what will you be doing? When we do the National Day on Writing, our kindergarten students have a template where they draw a picture of themselves and they write out, what will I be when I'm Rahway's own? So it is really morphed over time, where I feel like we are really good at it now. Right. We had our selection meeting. I think in one. It was a little bit like a sorority rush, but we had like a point system and we got it down. Yeah. So we had an artist. What we were aiming for is an artist, an athlete, a statesman, and an academic. This year spoke to us in a different way, and it has really morphed over time.
Are you having the community of the school or the community of the school and parents and others? How are you doing?
That is a fantastic question, because this is we have pushed. This is not Rahway High School's Hall of Fame. This is a community Hall of Fame. So the nominees come in from all over the city and go to the Arts and Business Partnership, not to Rahway High School.
And how do you notify the community that you're voting? What do you do? What are the systems that you're using?
We do it through social media, through flyers, some word of mouth, newspaper, and stuff.
Our websites, things like that?
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
This is great. Not only is it great, it's what engages everybody. I mean, and it's such a positive thing. Just FYI, I have very, very, very dear friends who the husband has made big through the years. And this is a few years ago, and I was back in Rochester, where I had lived and made friends with them. And I walked through Rochester Airport, and there, about the size of this, is a complete billboard with my friend, the husband.
Yeah.
Look what, did with
Yeah.
education in Rochester.
Right.
Yeah, right, exactly. There was one more question.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Rahway Zone also has its own website, so if you wanted to see the full program, it's rahwayzone.com.
Yes.
So who pays for these materials and what impact are you finding that it has on the youth?
So we, the Arts and Business Partnership pays for it because this is a marketing campaign for Rahway. So it comes out of our budget. We have an amazing design team at Wisdom Media that has developed the design for this. And we partner with a local photographer to take the pictures when we need them, like Dion Dawkins, that's his professional one. And I think the impact it has on the community is especially, like, for example, as I was setting up the posters at one of the elementary schools, one of the girls came in for their rehearsal, and she was like, I wore this dress specifically so I would look like Shanice Williams. So the students look at people who look like them, who they have seen, who they might have sat next to in a restaurant in the town, and see people like that and can aspire to achieve and know that they have the potential to achieve.
I also wanted to point out, this is kicked off in October. We announced the winners at Rising Stars in June, and then we have an assembly in October. It's coupled with our homecoming game, where we invite the 4 people that are being honored that year, and they come and speak at an assembly and perform for the students. It's a 2-hour assembly. We invite seniors and sophomores to rotate it. Kids are trying to get in there. And then we invite whoever is speaking specifically to that group. We're trying to turn this into October as Rahway's own month, where we open up that Shanice is doing a master's class in theater. Daphne is coming back to the dance classes. Dion comes and tries to help mentor the football team. So, for example, this year we have a professional trainer from an NFL team coming back. We're picking the schedule based on when the NFL is off, and he's going to be able to come in and do workshops with the kids and then do this assembly. Yes?
I have a question relative to your empowerment workshops. The $40 cost that you determined was reasonable per family, does that cover all the cost of materials and utilities?
Yes, it does, because it's a fundraiser. And you're right, some of the workshops were more costly, and that person just made less money because it was a fundraiser. And if any of the groups had decided to give out a T-shirt to promote their club, that was their cost. Right.
Parents that are paying the
$40. Speaking to that, we'll point this out. If you were a part of the YMCA aftercare program, the cost was $10 to you. That just covered administrative and some arts material, because you had already paid for the Y. So it was free to Y students, paid for anyone working with a babysitter or aftercare.
Just one more thing. That $40 is for the program. It's not per class.
Yeah.
So it was for the entire 8 weeks.
And also that partnership with the YMCA helped them be able to apply for other grants. So.
Did you